Now 54 minutes into a red flag situation here at the season finale of the IZOD IndyCar series at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. A mood that is very concerned right now for the well-being of the driver of the number 77, Dan Weldon, as he has been transported to University Medical Center. If you've just joined us, 15 total cars involved in the crash. And one of those guys that somehow made it through was Davey Hamilton. And Rick, you're going to talk to him, and boy, he knows what it's like to go through a very difficult crash.
Yeah, Davey had a great view for this one, but you were able to get out of it. Explain what you saw and how you got away.
Man, you know, fortunately, a little bit of bad luck ended up being good luck for that incident. And, you know, we missed on our gears, and I'm sixth gear on the rev limiter the whole way around. And I didn't realize how fast this pace was going to be. And so we fell back a little bit. And, you know, unfortunately, turn one, I seen some smoke. So I lifted a little bit, and then it went away. So I started to go again, and then mayhem happened. And all I could see was cars flying and going upside down. At that point, I just shot to the bottom as fast as I could, and I almost got into the inside wall from hitting the transition on our warm-up lane. And at that point, you're still just trying to slow down and seeing parts. And, you know, it's, you know, without a doubt the worst thing I've ever seen in, you know, my racing career, honestly. It's sad, man. It's sad.
In terms of this race, you were concerned about the number of extra drivers, one-time drivers coming into this.
Yeah, you know, at one point we were doing the, you know, somebody can come in and beat us guys for a $5 million bonus. You can't come in here and race with these guys and think you're going to beat them ever. You know, I'm a part-time guy now, and when I go to Indianapolis, I get practice. I get some weeks of practice, but the days of me even coming here with the experience I have in these cars and the knowledge I have with them to try to compete against these guys is very, very difficult, and our results show for it. These guys are tough. They're the best in the world, and you know, if you're gonna come in here and win and compete, you know, you need to do it all the time, and you can't bring guys that have never raced, especially Indy cars, to deal like that. But thank God that didn't happen, and that's not the cause of it.
Sometimes we lose sight of how dangerous racing is. You're somebody who's been through it, has been to the brink and come back. How hard is it to see what's going on here today and to think about how close you guys come to the edge?
You know, reality hit again. You know, it's been 10 years or so more, a little more than 10 years since my accident in Texas, and you know, we're a bunch of friends here. This is our family. This is what I love, and I was fortunate enough to come back. But you know, these are sad days. As I try to tell everybody when I got hurt, whenever you put a helmet and a fire suit on, it's probably pretty dangerous, and we accept that as racing drivers, and we never hope to see this. And I think this track is so beautiful and so smooth and so banked and fast, and we're running speeds that we almost run at Indy, and it's really kind of easy to run in packs like that. But the cars are still moving around a lot, as you've seen, and somebody just makes one little mistake, or what, not even a mistake, the car just steps out a little bit, and that's what it causes. And you know, it's scary. You know, I mean, my friends are hurt back there, and we got to go back and do this again.
Does it make you question whether you'll come back and do this again?
Absolutely. Yeah, it does for sure. You know, I mean, it's been a question mark a little bit anyways, just because, like I said, I'm not the full-time guy. With my leg injuries, I can't race the road courses anymore. Just not good enough on them with the injuries that I have. But ovals, I can still get it done, I felt, and I'm having a lot of fun. But, you know, it's time for me to rethink, and I have some things up the pipe, do some team ownership maybe. And, you know, I got Hewlett Packard as a great partner and friends with me, and so we're gonna reevaluate. Indy's still out there, man. Like I told you, I get a lot of practice there. I feel comfortable there. You know, that's the one you want to win, and so I'm not saying no, but you know, like I say, when your friends get flown out and you don't know their condition, it makes you think twice for sure.
If ever there's a guy who knows the impact and what it can do to somebody's life, it's Davey Hamilton as a race car driver.
Davey's big crash was June of 2001 back at Texas, and there were many of us that never thought he would drive again. Came back and actually competed again this year at Indy, qualified 15th, finished 24th in this year's Indianapolis 500. Let's catch up with one of the Rookie of the Year contenders, Vince.
With James Hinchcliffe, one of those that was right up front and with a bird's eye view of everything that was going on in regards to the accident. Did you see the initial contact at all?
The initial contact was with me. You know, we were coming out of turn 4. I was side by side with Elio there, and Graham and Ryan were banging wheels for some reason on lap 11, and they got into each other and both had to lift, and Elio and I both had to lift, and that allowed Wade, who was a couple car lengths behind me, to get a bit of a run, and we went down the front straight 3 wide. So I'm hearing 3 wide on my radio, and I'm just looking at Elio's tire, staying right on there and trying to give as much room high as I can. And I guess going into turn 1, Wade just got into my right rear tire with his front wing, and that's what kicked his car loose and then, made him spin out in front of everybody else. So an unfortunate situation and sort of bred from guys driving, I think, beyond what we should be doing at this part of the race. So obviously everybody's thoughts just with Dan right now. Glad everybody else was okay. I mean, when we came around after the caution was thrown, I can't even describe to you what the scene looked like on the racetrack from our point of view. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen before in my life.
I've heard several drivers, and in fact just about everyone that we've interviewed has talked about the fact that they were concerned before the race that this sort of thing was going to happen. Was it brought up in the drivers' meeting? Did anyone talk with Brian Barnhart about the concern or maybe address it as a group as a whole from a driver's standpoint?
At the end of the day, I mean, the series isn't stupid. They know the situation. I mean, we could have all addressed our concerns to them, and I'm sure some people did privately one-on-one with Brian or whomever. But, I mean, they've been around racing a long time. They know that 34 cars on a mile-and-a-half track is something we've never done. And, a lot of these people are doing either, their first race or a couple races or the first race in a long time. And then this track in particular, just the nature of the racetrack, we can run so close to each other, not only side by side, but also nose to tail through the corners, that when something goes wrong, there's zero margin and there's zero time to react. So, a place like Kentucky, the cars move around a bit more, there's not as much grip, you're giving each other more room. This racetrack, we don't have to do it, and because we're all competitive people, we don't do it. And that's when you leads you to situations where if one little thing goes wrong, it can have very bad consequences.
How does what happened earlier here this afternoon affect you when you get back in the car to restart?
Well, I mean, even just having an accident like that, with that many cars being involved, I think is going to calm everybody down. Obviously, it's a whole new dimension knowing that that Dan had to be flown out of here on a helicopter. So again, we just hope he's fine. But I think everybody now appreciates a little bit better what can happen, and I certainly hope there's a lot more respect and just a lot more intelligence used out there.
Thanks, James. Marty?
All right, Vince, thanks so much. There's Will Power's pit area, and he, of course, was one of the cars involved in this crash, ending his hopes of winning the championship. But, Jamie, you're hearing more on Will's situation?
Yes, I watched him walk back and forth in and out of the infield medical center here multiple times. Well, I was just told by IndyCar that he was indeed taken to University Medical Center complaining of lower back pains. So, of course, he injured a little bit more than he thought he was initially. He gave me a thumbs up and said okay, but he too is now at the medical center. Marty?
All right, thanks for the update, Jamie. As this 15-car crash has truly taken a huge toll, not only on equipment, but on the drivers in the series. The most seriously injured at this point that we know of is Dan Weldon. He was airlifted to the University Medical Center. We do not have any further information on his condition. As soon as we get that information, of course, we'll pass it along. It is now an hour and 4 minutes into this red flag. Back after this message from our ABC stations.